Today we're going to be reviewing what I think is the best motor mount for upgraded motors in the X-Maxx that you can buy. First, I want to talk about gears and motor mounts. The original X-Maxx motor mount came with a mount on the front and on the back. Take a look at this picture. You can see it mounts the entire motor straight down to the chassis and prevents the motor from being able to flex up or down in crashes. What this does is on the mesh side of the motor and the spur gear, it prevents the motor from pushing down or up, either spreading the gears apart or jamming the gears together in a crash. The problem is that most upgraded motor mounts, like this M2C mount, which is a fantastic mount, they have a brace they put in the top which helps mitigate this problem, but it doesn't eliminate it. What they do is they put the motor up in the air like this so that it can be adjusted vertically for mesh as opposed to horizontally the way that the stock mount was. The problem with this is that the motor is hanging out in the air here, and so when you crash down, it'll bend the motor down slightly and then back up, or worse, upside down, it'll push the motor up and then it'll come back down. So what you end up running into is these gears will pull apart for a moment or slam together for a moment, and then you end up stripping gears on your X-Maxx, and you look at your mesh and it still looks perfect. You have no idea why the gear stripped. It's stripped because that mesh isn't perfect for moments when you're jumping and landing and crashing. One solution to this is, well, just run bigger gears. Bigger teeth means there is more room for those teeth to separate or move together without separating completely or smashing together completely. Also, these bigger teeth are stronger, so they're more forgiving to the teeth separating out. That doesn't really solve the problem, it just masks the problem. The other thing is, when you do this, you eliminate the cush drive that comes with the stock spur gear, meaning that you're putting more shock load on your drivetrain. You also are running heavier gears which have more rotating mass, which also puts more load on everything when you're accelerating and decelerating. What Bowhouse RC has done is they've created this mount. This is their SVT Big Bore Mount, and what it does is it mounts your motor directly down against the mount here and all the way across. This is a diameter 1100 kV motor. This also works with any of the other diameter motors, which are the 800 kV motors and a couple of the Castle motors. They also include this little plate that can go right here on the back of the motor mount if you're running smaller diameter motors. And then they include this stainless steel clamp that goes around the motor, around the bottom of the motor mount, and squeezes the two together. This basically locks these two pieces together just like the stock mount would have been. You then mount it up just like you would with the stock mount and adjust it side to side to adjust your gear mesh. If you're running bigger gears where the stock gear meshes won't work, they also include this riser kit, which bolts securely to the bottom of the mount and raises the mount up, allowing you to have a better range of gear ratios available to you. This kit won't allow for every gear ratio, but it will allow for most gear ratios. They have a lot of information on their site that tells you exactly what ratios work and what ratios don't. I'm going to have some links down below that will help you with that. Now, I had a lot of problems with my Mod 1 gears stripping out. No matter what I did, everything else in the truck was perfect. I do a lot of really high jumping, and I was stripping gears and stripping gears. I put this mount in with this clamp, and I haven't stripped a single gear since. My meshes stayed perfect, my gears have stayed perfect, and I personally think this is the best mount that you can get for the X-Maxx. Like I said, the M2C mount is fine, the B&M mount is fine, but so far that I've seen, no other mount holds the motor to the mount in such a way that when you crash right side up, it can't bend down, and when you crash upside down, it can't bend up. I've already been testing this mount with them for a little while now, but what I want to do now is go ahead and get this mounted back up in my truck, and then we're going to take this truck out and we're going to bash it and see how everything holds up. But before we do that, make sure you guys get subscribed and hit the bell to get notified for future videos, because we're going to be reviewing the HPI Savage, coming up in the next few days. Then we're going to be reviewing this little guy, which is a 1/72nd scale, completely proportional monster truck. This little guy's a lot of fun. Going to have some giveaways coming up. Going to have a lot of really cool and interesting videos coming down the pipe, so make sure you're subscribed. And if you have any questions or comments about this mount or any of the other mounts or things I talked about, let me know down in the comments.